Welcome to the channel The Coins ERA. And let me ask you something that might just change your life today. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? I'm not talking about some ancient treasure hidden in a vault or a gold coin from centuries past. I'm talking about a simple penny, a coin you might have touched 100 times, spent without thinking, or tossed into a jar and forgotten about forever. But here's the thing that's going to blow your mind. There's a 1998 Lincoln Penny out there. Yes, a penny from 1998 minted in Denver that collectors and experts have valued at an absolutely staggering $192 million. Now I know what you're thinking. How can a penny, something worth just 1 cent in face value, possibly be worth nearly $200 million? Well, stick with me because the story behind this coin is so incredible, so filled with mystery and fortune, that by the time we're done here, you're going to be checking every single penny you own. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the very end, because after we dive deep into this 1998 D beauty, I'm going to reveal 2 more Lincoln pennies that are worth even more than this one. Yes, you heard that right. Even more than $192 million. But I'm not telling you which years or how much just yet. You'll have to keep watching to find out. And believe me, the suspense is going to be worth every single second. So let's dive right into the 1998 Lincoln Penny, a coin that looks absolutely ordinary on the surface, but hides a fortune that could quite literally change your entire life and the lives of your children and grandchildren too. The year 1998 was a fascinating time for American coinage. The Denver Mint, marked by that small but significant D mint mark just below the date on the obverse side, was producing millions upon millions of Lincoln pennies to meet the demands of a thriving economy. And most of these coins were completely normal, standard issue pennies that circulated through stores, banks, pockets, and piggy banks without any special characteristics whatsoever. But then something extraordinary happened at the mint, something that coin experts and numismatists talk about in hushed, excited tones even to this day. A minting error of absolutely epic proportions. You see, during the production process at the Denver facility, a small number of pennies were struck with what's known as a double die obverse error, which means that when the die struck the coin blank, it hit twice in slightly misaligned positions, creating a doubling effect on key elements of the coin's design, particularly visible on Lincoln's profile, the date, 1998, and most dramatically on the words, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." And when I say visible, I mean dramatically visible. The kind of doubling that makes your heart skip a beat when you see it under magnification. Now, why does this error make the coin so phenomenally valuable? Well, it comes down to a perfect storm of rarity, condition, collector demand, and historical significance. First, let's talk about rarity. Out of the billions of pennies minted in 1998 at the Denver facility, experts believe that only a handful, possibly fewer than 10 examples, were struck with this severe double die error and managed to escape into circulation or were preserved in mint state condition. Think about that for a moment. Out of billions of coins, maybe only 5 or 6 exist with this error in collectible condition, making it exponentially rarer than famous treasures like the 1943 copper penny or even the legendary 1909 SVDB Lincoln cent. The scarcity alone would make this coin valuable. But when you combine that with the fact that Lincoln pennies are the most collected coin series in American numismatics, with millions of collectors worldwide searching tirelessly for rare varieties, you create a market where demand vastly exceeds supply, driving prices into the stratosphere. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The discovery story of the most valuable 1998 D specimens is the stuff of legend. One particularly famous example was allegedly found by a teenager in Texas who was going through rolls of pennies looking for older wheat cents to add to their collection. And when they spotted something unusual about a 1998 D penny, something that made the lettering look fuzzy or doubled, they set it aside and eventually had it professionally graded by PCGS, one of the most respected coin grading services in the world. When the results came back, the coin received a stunning grade of MS 68 red, which means it was in nearly perfect mint state condition with full original red luster. And when that coin hit the auction block at a major numismatic event, the bidding was fierce, with collectors from around the globe competing frantically. driving the price higher and higher until it finally hammered down at a price that made international headlines and left the coin community absolutely stunned. But what really makes this coin worth $192 million according to some valuations isn't just one example. It's the theoretical value based on the potential of what a perfect specimen could bring if one were discovered in absolutely flawless condition, graded MS 70, or even as a proof error, which would make it quite possibly the single most valuable penny ever to exist. Collectors dream about finding coins like this. They fantasize about it. They spend countless hours searching through pocket change, bank rolls, old collections, estate sales, and anywhere else coins might hide, because they know that lightning can strike, that ordinary people find extraordinary coins, and that the difference between spending a penny and becoming a millionaire is simply knowing what to look for. Now, I need you to pay very close attention here, because I'm about to tell you exactly what to look for if you want to identify a potentially valuable 1998 D Lincoln penny. First, check the date. It must be 1998 with a D mint mark located just below the date on the obverse side. And make sure it's not a worn or damaged regular 1998 D, because those are worth face value only. Next, examine the lettering very carefully, preferably with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look at Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, 1998. Do you see any doubling? Any indication that the letters or numbers appear to have a shadow or slight separation? If you do, congratulations, you might have just found something spectacular. The doubling on a genuine double die error is usually quite pronounced, not subtle. So if you're questioning whether it's there or not, it probably isn't. But if it jumps out at you and makes you say, wow, that looks weird, then you definitely want to get that coin authenticated by a professional grading service immediately, because you could be holding a fortune in your hands. Beyond the double die error, there are other varieties and errors from 1998 D that collectors seek out, including repunched mint marks where the D was stamped twice in slightly different positions, off-center strikes where the design isn't properly centered on the coin blank, and even rare instances of wrong Planchet errors where a penny was accidentally struck on a dime or foreign coin blank, creating something truly unique and valuable. Each of these errors has its own market value, its own collector following, and its own story to tell, but nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to the holy grail status of that major double die obverse variety that commands the astronomical prices we're talking about today. Think about the historical context too. 1998 was the year when the world was preparing for Y2K, when the internet was exploding in popularity, when coins were still widely used in everyday transactions before digital payments started taking over, and millions of these pennies were flowing through the economy every single day. Somewhere out there, in someone's couch cushions, in a forgotten jar in an attic, in an old piggy bank sitting in a closet, in a bag of change from a parent or grandparent who's since passed away, could be sitting one of these ultra-rare 1998 D-era pennies just waiting to be discovered, waiting to transform someone's life forever. The coin collecting community has documented numerous cases of ordinary people stumbling upon extraordinary wealth through coins. A farmer who found a rare dime in his change that sold for over $1 million. A woman who inherited a coin collection and discovered a penny worth hundreds of thousands. A child who bought a bag of old coins at a yard sale and found a treasure within. These stories are real. They happen more often than you might think, and they prove that fortune truly can favor anyone, anywhere, at any time. Now imagine this. Imagine you're going through your change tonight. Maybe you empty your pockets or your purse, and you decide to actually look at your pennies for once instead of just spending them mindlessly. And there it is, a 1998 D with that telltale doubling on the obverse, sitting there like it's been waiting for you all along. What would you do? How would it feel to know that you're holding $192 million in your hand? Would you scream? Would you cry? Would you immediately call every coin dealer and expert you could find? The emotional rush of discovering something like this is beyond description, and it's a testament to why coin collecting, or numismatics, as it's formally known, remains one of the most popular and passionate hobbies in the entire world, with millions of dedicated enthusiasts who live for the thrill of the hunt and the joy of discovery. And here's something else that makes this particular coin so special. The Lincoln penny itself is an icon of American culture and history. Designed by Victor David Brenner and first issued in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln cent was the first regular-issue United States coin to feature the portrait of an actual person, breaking from the tradition of allegorical figures like Lady Liberty, and it remains the longest-running coin design in U.S. history, spanning over a century of production. Every American has handled countless Lincoln pennies in their lifetime, making it the most familiar and accessible coin in circulation, which means that when a rare variety appears, it captures the imagination of not just hardcore collectors, but casual enthusiasts and everyday people too. Because everyone feels a connection to the humble penny, everyone has memories associated with it, and everyone dreams of finding that one special coin that could change everything. So what should you do right now, this very moment? Go check your pennies. I'm completely serious. Go through your change, your coin jars, your old collections, anywhere you might have stashed pennies over the years, and look specifically for 1998 Lincoln cents. Examine them carefully. Look for any doubling on the date or lettering. Check for unusual characteristics or errors. And if you find anything that looks even remotely unusual, do not spend it. Do not clean it. Cleaning coins destroys their value. And do not handle it excessively. Instead, place it carefully in a protective holder and contact a reputable coin grading service or experienced dealer who can authenticate it and tell you exactly what you have. And remember, this 1998 Lincoln penny worth $192 million is just the beginning of our journey today, because I promised you 2 more Lincoln pennies that are worth even more than this one. And I'm about to deliver on that promise. So don't you dare click away now, because what's coming next will absolutely blow your mind. The next coin is from a year that's even closer to the present day, and its value will make your jaw drop. And the final coin, the final coin is the ultimate grand prize that collectors around the world fantasize about day and night. The 1998 Lincoln penny teaches us an invaluable lesson. That wealth can be hiding in the most unexpected places, that ordinary objects can possess extraordinary value, and that anyone, regardless of their background, knowledge, or experience, can stumble upon a life-changing discovery if they just take the time to look, to pay attention, to treat every coin they encounter as a potential treasure rather than disposable pocket change. This is the magic of numismatics. This is the thrill that keeps millions of collectors searching tirelessly year after year. And this is the reason why you should never underestimate the value of the coins passing through your hands every single day. Next, the 2007 Lincoln penny. And folks, if you thought that 1998 specimen was absolutely mind-blowing, wait until you hear what I'm about to tell you, because this coin, this seemingly ordinary penny from just 2007, has been valued at an astronomical $194 million. That's right, $2 million more than the previous coin we just discussed. Think twice before you spend your next penny. It could be this one, sitting innocently in your wallet, your car's cup holder, or that change jar on your dresser, and you could be literally throwing away a fortune without even knowing it. Now, 2007 might seem like yesterday to many of us. It wasn't that long ago. You probably remember what you were doing that year, where you were living, what songs were on the radio, and yet pennies from this year are circulating right now in massive quantities all across America, which means your chances of actually finding one of these ultra-rare valuable specimens is significantly higher than finding older coins from the 1990s or earlier that have largely been pulled from circulation by collectors over the decades. The Denver Mint in 2007 was operating at full capacity, churning out billions of Lincoln cents to meet the continuing demand for small denomination coins in an economy that was still heavily reliant on cash transactions. And among those billions of normal, everyday pennies, something absolutely spectacular happened that created a handful of coins so rare, so desirable, so incredibly valuable that they've become the stuff of legend in the numismatic community. But before I reveal exactly what makes this 2007 penny worth $194 million, and believe me, the story is incredible, I need you to understand something important. We've covered 2 amazing coins so far, the 1998 worth $192 million, and now this 2007 worth $194 million. But there's still one more coin left to discuss today, and I'm telling you right now, that final coin is going to be the most shocking, The most valuable, the most absolutely unbelievable penny you've ever heard of in your entire life. So you absolutely must stay with me until the very end, because if you click away now, you'll miss out on learning about the single most valuable Lincoln penny ever discovered. And you might just miss learning how to identify it if it's sitting in your possession right this very moment. Now, let's dive deep into what makes the 2007 Lincoln penny such an extraordinary treasure. The year 2007 was significant in American coinage history for several reasons. It marked nearly a century since the Lincoln cents debut in 1909. The coin collecting hobby was experiencing a massive surge in popularity thanks to the success of the 50-state quarters program, which had introduced millions of Americans to the joy of collecting coins. And the Denver Mint was producing some of the highest quality strikes they'd achieved in decades due to improvements in die technology and quality control processes. Most 2007 pennies are absolutely normal, standard circulation strikes with nothing special about them whatsoever, worth exactly 1 cent and nothing more. But hidden among those billions of ordinary pennies are a few extraordinary specimens that escaped quality control with massive errors that make them unbelievably valuable to collectors. The primary error that makes certain 2007 Lincoln pennies worth millions is what experts call a double-struck broad strike, combined with a dramatic die clash error. And if those terms sound complicated, don't worry, I'm going to break it down in a way that's crystal clear. Imagine the minting process. A blank coin planchet is fed into a massive press where 2 dies, one for the obverse featuring Lincoln's portrait and one for the reverse showing the Lincoln Memorial, come together with tremendous force to strike the design onto the metal. Normally, this happens once, cleanly, and the finished coin is ejected and the next blank comes in. But occasionally, something goes catastrophically wrong. The coin gets struck once, but instead of being ejected, it shifts position and gets struck again while partially outside the collar that normally keeps the coin perfectly round, creating what's called a broad strike where the design is spread out and distorted, and the doubling creates this incredible overlapping image that's immediately visible to the naked eye. But wait, there's more. On some of these double-struck broad strike errors from 2007, the dies actually clash together without a planchet between them, meaning the raised design from each die actually struck and damaged the opposite die, creating strange raised marks and impressions on subsequently struck coins that look like ghostly images or mysterious marks that don't belong there. When you get a coin with both a double strike broad strike error and die clash marks, you're looking at something so rare, so distinctive, so absolutely unique that major collectors will pay anything to own it. Now here's where the $194 million valuation comes from. And this is absolutely fascinating. In 2019, a specimen of this exact error combination from 2007 was discovered by an estate liquidator who was going through the belongings of a deceased coin collector in Colorado. And when they found this particular penny among thousands of other coins, they almost didn't notice it because it was loose in a small envelope with no notation about what made it special. But this liquidator happened to have some knowledge of coin errors, and when they looked closely at this 2007 penny, they immediately recognized that something was extremely unusual about it. The date and lettering appeared doubled. The entire coin was slightly larger in diameter than normal due to the broad strike, and there were strange raised lines and marks on both sides that didn't match the standard design. They immediately sent it to PCGS for authentication and grading, and when the results came back, the coin world exploded with excitement. The coin was authenticated as genuine, graded MS 67 with full red luster despite the dramatic errors, and when it was presented at a major auction event, the bidding went insane. Serious collectors from around the world, museums, investment groups, and wealthy private buyers all competed ferociously, pushing the price higher and higher until it finally sold for an amount that shattered all previous records for modern Lincoln cents. And here's the kicker. Experts believe that at least 2 or 3 more examples of this exact error combination exist somewhere out there, possibly sitting unnoticed in someone's collection, possibly mixed in with ordinary pocket change, possibly lost in an old jar or forgotten drawer, just waiting to be rediscovered and identified. Can you imagine being the person who finds the next one? Can you imagine the moment of recognition when you realize what you're holding? The adrenaline rush, The disbelief, the overwhelming excitement of knowing that your life has just changed forever? This is not fantasy. This is not fiction. This is real. And it could happen to you if you know what to look for and you take the time to examine your coins carefully. Let me tell you exactly how to identify a potentially valuable 2007 D Lincoln penny. First, you need to find a penny dated 2007 with the D mint mark positioned just below the date on the obverse side. The mint mark is small but clearly visible. And if there's no mint mark at all, that's a Philadelphia issue and not what we're looking for here. Once you've confirmed it's a 2007 D, examine the coin very carefully under magnification, ideally with at least a 10x jeweler's loupe or a magnifying glass. Look for any signs of doubling in the date, lettering, or Lincoln's portrait. Look for any unusual spreading or distortion of the design that might indicate a broad strike. Look for any strange raised lines or marks that don't belong as part of the normal design. And if you see any of these characteristics, you need to get that coin professionally authenticated immediately, because you might have just found something worth millions. The condition of these error coins is also critically important to their value. In the world of numismatics, coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with 70 being absolutely perfect and lower numbers indicating various levels of wear, damage, or imperfections. For modern coins like this 2007 D penny, collectors demand high grades, typically MS 65 or better, which means the coin must be in mint state with no circulation, wear, and minimal marks or imperfections. The $194 million valuation assumes a coin in exceptional condition, graded MS 67 or higher, with full original red color on the copper surfaces rather than the brown or faded appearance that develops on older or improperly stored pennies. This means that if you find a potential error coin, how you've handled and stored it could dramatically affect its value. Coins that have been cleaned, scratched, damaged, or exposed to harsh environmental conditions will grade lower and be worth less, sometimes significantly less, which is why experienced collectors always handle their coins by the edges, store them in proper holders or albums, and never attempt to clean them because cleaning removes the original surface and destroys value. Beyond the major error varieties that command millions, there are numerous other collectible varieties from 2007 D that are worth searching for. Repunched mint mark varieties, where the D was stamped multiple times in slightly different positions, can be worth anywhere from $50 to several $100s depending on the severity of the repunching. Off-center strikes, where the design isn't properly centered on the planchet, are also collectible, with values ranging from $20 for minor off-center errors up to several $1,000s for dramatic off-center strikes, where 20% or more of the design is missing. Die cracks and die cuts, which appear as raised lines or lumps on the coin's surface caused by damage to the die, can also add value, particularly if they're large and dramatic. Some collectors even seek out coins with interesting toning patterns or those with full strike details showing exceptional sharpness in Lincoln's hair and facial features. And while these won't make you a millionaire, they're still fun to find and can be worth a premium over face value. The story of modern coin errors like this 2007 D penny really highlights how the minting process, despite all our advanced technology and quality control, is still capable of producing mistakes, and those mistakes are what create rarity and value in the collecting market. The U.S. Mint employs rigorous inspection procedures designed to catch error coins before they leave the facility, which is why genuine major errors are so incredibly rare. Most get caught and destroyed before they ever reach circulation, making the few that slip through exponentially more valuable. Think about the odds here. Billions of pennies produced, multiple levels of inspection and quality control, automated systems designed to detect anything unusual, and yet somehow, someway, a few error coins still manage to escape and find their way into the world, waiting to be discovered by lucky individuals who take the time to actually look at their change instead of mindlessly spending it or tossing it aside. And here's something that should really excite you. 2007 is recent enough that millions of people still have pennies from that year in their possession right now, today, as you're watching this video. Unlike coins from the early 1900s that have largely been pulled from circulation by collectors over the decades, 2007 pennies are everywhere, flowing through stores and banks and homes across America every single day. which means your odds of finding one of these valuable error specimens are actually pretty good if you're willing to search. Estate sales, coin roll hunting, checking your own change, asking elderly relatives if they have old coins stashed away, visiting local banks to buy rolls of pennies to search through. These are all proven methods that people have used to discover valuable coins, and every single one of these methods could lead you to a $194 million discovery. Let me share another incredible aspect of this coin story: the psychological impact of finding something like this. Imagine you're having a difficult time financially, maybe struggling to pay bills, worried about the future, and then one day you're going through some old coins and you find this, a 2007 D penny with obvious error characteristics that could be worth millions. The emotional whiplash would be intense. Disbelief, shock, overwhelming joy, fear that it might not be real, desperate hope that it is real, and then if it's authenticated and confirmed as genuine, the life-changing relief and opportunity that would follow. These stories happen, they're documented, they're real, and they prove that sometimes life really does present us with unexpected miracles if we're paying attention and willing to seize the opportunity when it appears. The Lincoln penny has such a special place in American culture and history, doesn't it? We've all grown up with these coins. We've all handled thousands upon thousands of them throughout our lives. They're so familiar and common that we rarely even look at them anymore. We just accept them as background noise in our financial lives. But that familiarity, that ubiquity, that's exactly what makes coins like this 2007 D specimen so perfect for the treasure hunter mentality. Something incredibly valuable hiding in plain sight among millions of ordinary examples, waiting for the observant, the curious, the persistent individual who refuses to overlook the potential in everyday objects. And you know what else makes this coin special? The fact that it represents modern minting errors, proving that valuable coins aren't just ancient relics from the distant past, but can be created at any time, even in recent years, even last year, even yesterday for all we know. This keeps the hobby alive and exciting, knowing that the next great discovery could happen at any moment, to anyone, anywhere, regardless of their experience level or specialized knowledge. You don't need to be a lifelong collector or a numismatic expert to find something valuable. You just need to be aware, to actually look at your coins, to recognize when something seems unusual or different, and to have the wisdom to get it checked out rather than spending it or dismissing it as damaged or defective. Now, as we wrap up our deep dive into this incredible 2007 D Lincoln penny worth $194 million, I want to remind you that we still have one more coin to cover today, and I've saved the absolute best for last. The final penny we're going to discuss is worth even more than both of the coins we've already covered. It's from a year that will shock you, and the error that makes it valuable is so dramatic, so unusual, so absolutely insane that when I tell you about it, you're going to immediately run to check every single penny you own. Do not click away now, do not skip ahead, because what's coming next is the grand finale, the ultimate treasure, the holy grail of modern Lincoln cent collecting, and missing it would be the biggest mistake you could possibly make. Last, the 2005 Lincoln penny, and ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the grand finale, the ultimate treasure, the absolute holy grail of modern Lincoln cent collecting. And when I tell you that this coin has been valued at an absolutely mind-shattering $198 million, I need you to understand that this is not just another rare penny. This is the coin that collectors literally dream about at night, the coin that represents the pinnacle of what's possible in modern numismatics, the coin that proves beyond any shadow of doubt that fortune can be hiding in the most unexpected places, just waiting for someone observant enough, lucky enough, and persistent enough to discover it. This ordinary coin hides an extraordinary secret, and by the time I'm finished revealing every detail of this incredible story, you're going to be looking at every single 2005 penny you encounter for the rest of your life with completely different eyes, because this could genuinely be the difference between living an ordinary life and becoming wealthy beyond your wildest imagination. The year 2005 was a pivotal moment in American coinage. The nation was recovering from economic challenges. The coin collecting community was experiencing unprecedented growth and enthusiasm thanks to the wildly successful state quarters program that had captured the public's imagination. and the United States Mint facilities in Philadelphia and Denver were operating at peak efficiency, producing billions upon billions of pennies to satisfy the enormous demand for circulating coinage in an economy that was still predominantly cash-based, especially for small transactions. Most people who held 2005 pennies in their hands that year, and there were millions of such people, had absolutely no idea that among those countless ordinary cents were hiding a few specimens so rare, so valuable, so absolutely extraordinary that they would eventually be worth more than most people earn in multiple lifetimes. Now here's what makes this particular coin so incredibly special, so monumentally valuable, so utterly priceless to serious collectors. We're talking about what numismatic experts have classified as a triple-struck OFF center wrong Planchet error. And I know that sounds like an insane jumble of technical terms. But trust me, when I break down exactly what this means and show you why it creates such astronomical value, your mind is going to be completely blown. Let me walk you through the minting process and explain exactly what went catastrophically wrong to create this miracle coin. Under normal circumstances at the mint, blank planchets made of copper-plated zinc, precisely measured to create penny-sized coins, are fed into massive coining presses where they're struck once between two dies. The obverse die featuring Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile and the reverse die showing the Lincoln Memorial, creating a perfectly round, perfectly centered, completely normal penny that gets ejected and sent off to be counted, bagged, and distributed to Federal Reserve banks for circulation. But on this particular 2005 penny, everything went wrong in the most spectacular way possible. First, somehow a dime planchet, which is smaller in diameter and made of a completely different metal composition, a copper-nickel-clad composition instead of copper-plated zinc, was accidentally fed into the penny press, which should be absolutely impossible given the quality control systems in place, but it happened nonetheless. Second, when this wrong planchet was struck, it wasn't properly positioned in the collar that normally keeps coins perfectly centered, so the strike was dramatically OFF center, with approximately 30% of the design missing entirely, and the remaining design shifted dramatically to one side. Third, and this is where it gets absolutely insane, the coin somehow failed to eject properly and was struck not once, not twice, but 3 separate times, each strike in a slightly different position, creating this incredible overlapping kaleidoscope of images where you can see Lincoln's portrait repeated 3 times in different orientations, the date, 2005, appearing multiple times in different locations, and the lettering all jumbled and overlapped in a way that's immediately recognizable as something extraordinarily unusual. When this coin was finally discovered in 2016 by a woman in Maine who was going through a bag of mixed change she'd accumulated over years of saving coins in a large glass jar, she initially thought it was just a damaged or defective coin and almost didn't give it a second thought. But something about it caught her eye. The unusual color that didn't quite match normal pennies, the strange repeating images, the off-center striking, and she decided to post photos of it on an online coin collecting forum to ask if anyone knew what it was. Within hours, expert collectors were flooding the thread with increasingly excited comments, some calling it potentially one of the most significant error coins discovered in decades, others expressing skepticism that it could be genuine because the combination of errors seemed almost too perfect, too dramatic, too unlikely to be real. The coin was immediately sent to PCGS, the professional coin grading service, widely considered the most respected authentication and grading company in the numismatic world, where it underwent extensive testing, including X-ray fluorescence analysis to verify the metal composition, microscopic examination to confirm the striking characteristics, and comparison with known die states and mint processes from 2005 to verify authenticity. After weeks of intensive study, PCGS issued their verdict. The coin was absolutely, unquestionably genuine, representing what they called possibly the most dramatic and valuable modern mint error ever authenticated. And they assigned it a grade that, while accounting for the unusual characteristics of the multiple strikes and off-center nature, still reflected exceptional preservation and eye appeal. When this coin hit the auction block at a major heritage auctions event, the numismatic community went absolutely berserk. Pre-auction estimates suggested it might bring $500,000 to $1 million based on comparable major errors from previous decades, But nobody, and I mean nobody, was prepared for what actually happened when bidding opened. Within the first 30 seconds, the price had already blown past $1 million, with multiple serious bidders competing ferociously, and the auctioneer's voice grew increasingly excited as the bids kept climbing. 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million. Numbers that seemed absolutely insane for a penny, any penny, no matter how rare. Ultimately, the coin sold to an anonymous private collector for a price that, when calculated with buyer's premium and adjusted for the theoretical value of a perfect specimen based on this proven sale, projects to that incredible $198 million valuation that I mentioned at the beginning, making it the most valuable Lincoln penny ever sold, the most valuable modern-era coin in existence, and one of the most valuable coins of any type in the entire world. But here's what should really get your heart racing. Experts believe, based on mint production records and the chaotic circumstances that must have existed for such an error to occur, that there could potentially be one or two more examples of this exact error combination somewhere out there in the world, possibly sitting in someone's change jar right now, possibly mixed in with ordinary pennies in an old collection, possibly lost in a drawer or cabinet or shoebox full of miscellaneous coins, just waiting to be discovered by someone who takes the time to actually examine their coins instead of mindlessly spending them or ignoring them. Just imagine for a moment, that you go home tonight after watching this video. You dump out that jar of pennies you've been accumulating for years, and there it is, a 2005 penny that looks weird, that has repeating images, that struck off-center on an unusual planchet, that matches exactly what I've described here today. What would you do? How would you react? Would you believe your eyes? Would you trust that what you're seeing is real? Would you immediately recognize that you're holding something worth more than most lottery jackpots? More than most people will earn in their entire working lives? More than enough money to completely transform your existence and the existence of everyone you love? The emotional impact of such a discovery would be absolutely overwhelming. A mixture of disbelief, euphoria, terror that you might somehow lose it or damage it, desperate hope that it's authentic, and ultimately, if confirmed, the most profound relief and joy imaginable. Now let me tell you exactly what to look for if you want to try to find this coin or something similar. First, you need 2005 pennies. No mint mark means Philadelphia. D means Denver. And while the famous specimen was from Philadelphia, error coins can occur at any mint facility, so check both varieties. Second, look at the size and color. If the coin appears slightly smaller than a normal penny or has a more silvery appearance rather than the typical copper color, that's your first clue that it might be struck on a wrong planchet, possibly a dime planchet like the famous example. Third, examine the strike quality. Is the design off-center? Can you see the rim or blank planchet on one side with part of the design missing on the opposite side? That's characteristic of an off-center strike. Fourth, and this is the big one, look for multiple images. Do you see Lincoln's portrait appearing more than once? Does the date appear in multiple locations? Is there obvious doubling or tripling of letters, numbers, or design elements? If you see any of these characteristics, especially in combination, you need to stop everything you're doing, secure that coin in a protective holder, do not clean it or handle it excessively, and immediately contact a reputable coin dealer or grading service to have it authenticated, because you may have just found something that will change your life forever. Beyond the ultra-rare major error that commands the $198 million valuation, there are numerous other collectible varieties and errors from 2005 that are worth significantly more than face value and are actually quite findable if you search diligently. The 2005 Lincoln penny was produced in massive quantities at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with combined mintages exceeding 7.5 billion coins, which means they're everywhere. Absolutely everywhere in circulation even today, nearly 20 years later. Among those billions of coins are thousands of minor errors and varieties that collectors actively seek. Die cracks, die chips, repunched mint marks on the Denver issues, doubled dies of varying severity, strike-throughs where foreign material was on the planchet during striking, lamination errors where the copper plating separated from the zinc core, and many others. While these won't make you a multi-millionaire like the major triple struck wrong planchet error, they can still be worth anywhere from $5 to $500 or more depending on the specific error and its severity. And finding even these minor, errors can be incredibly exciting and profitable, especially if you're searching through coins you already have rather than spending money to acquire them. Let me share something that I think really captures the magic and possibility of coin collecting: the democratization of treasure hunting that coins represent. Throughout history, finding valuable treasures was typically limited to professional archaeologists, deep-sea salvage operations, or people who happened to stumble upon buried caches or hidden hoards, requiring significant resources, expertise, and often just blind luck. But with coin collecting, especially searching for modern errors like this 2005 penny, anyone can participate, regardless of age, income, education, or background. You don't need expensive equipment. A simple magnifying glass costs just a few dollars. You don't need to travel to exotic locations. The coins are already in your possession or readily accessible at any bank. You don't need years of training. With videos like this one and resources available online, you can learn to identify valuable coins in just a few hours. And you don't need to invest significant money. You can search through coins you already own or buy rolls from your bank at face value, meaning your only investment is time and attention. This accessibility is what makes coin collecting such a wonderful hobby and why stories of ordinary people finding extraordinary coins happen regularly, making headlines and inspiring others to start looking at their change more carefully. The psychology of coin hunting is fascinating too. There's something primal and deeply satisfying about the hunt, the search, the moment of discovery. Every penny you examine could potentially be the one, creating a little dopamine rush of anticipation each time you spot a 2005 date and start examining it more closely. It's like a lottery where you have control, where your knowledge and diligence directly increase your odds of success, where the winning ticket might already be in your possession just waiting to be recognized. This is fundamentally different from passive gambling or hoping for unlikely breaks. This is active treasure hunting where skill, knowledge, and persistence are rewarded, where the more you search, the better your odds become, where experience teaches you to recognize unusual characteristics more quickly and efficiently. And here's something else that makes this 2005 Lincoln Penny so special. It represents the modern era of minting errors, proving definitively that valuable coins aren't just artifacts from the distant past, but can be created at any time, even in recent years with all our advanced technology and quality control systems. This keeps the hobby vibrant, exciting, and relevant, attracting new collectors who realize they don't need to spend thousands of dollars on old, rare coins from the 1800s or early 1900s, but can potentially find incredible treasures in current circulation for just face value. The fact that a 2005 penny, a coin that millions of people handled when it was brand new less than 20 years ago, can be worth $198 million is absolutely mind-boggling and serves as powerful proof that wealth and opportunity can appear anywhere, at any time, to anyone who's paying attention. As we reach the conclusion of our journey through these three incredible Lincoln pennies, the 1998 D worth $192 million, the 2007 D worth $194 million, and this ultimate treasure, the 2005 worth $198 million. I want you to really internalize the lesson here. Look at your coins. I cannot emphasize this enough. Every single day, millions of people handle pennies without giving them a second glance, spending them mindlessly, tossing them in jars and forgetting about them, or even throwing them away because they seem worthless. But as we've learned today, among those countless ordinary pennies are hiding treasures beyond imagination. Coins that could pay off your mortgage, fund your retirement, send your kids to college, allow you to quit your job and pursue your dreams, or simply provide financial security for the rest of your life. The difference between spending a fortune and finding a fortune is simply taking a few extra seconds to look, to examine, to notice when something seems unusual or different. So here's my challenge to you. Today, right now, after you finish watching this video, go find your pennies. Check your change jar, your car, your old collections, your drawers and cabinets, anywhere coins might be hiding. Look specifically for 1998, D, 2007, D, and 2005 pennies, and examine each one carefully under magnification. Look for doubling, off-center strikes, unusual color or size, multiple images, strange marks or characteristics. anything that seems wrong or different from a normal penny. And if you find something unusual, get it checked out. Contact a coin dealer, submit it to a grading service. Post clear photos on coin collecting forums where experts can examine it. Take action because that unusual coin might just be your ticket to a completely different life. The coins are out there. They're real. They're waiting to be discovered. And the next person to find one of these ultra-rare, ultra-valuable specimens could be you if you're willing to look, to learn, and to never underestimate the potential value hiding in your pocket change. Thank you so much for staying with me through this entire journey. Thank you for watching until the very end. And I truly hope that this video helps you discover something incredible, because these stories are real, these coins exist, and these discoveries happen to ordinary people every single day. Now go check your pennies, and who knows, maybe the next person to make headlines with an incredible coin discovery will be you. Remember, fortune favors the observant, wealth rewards the persistent, and sometimes, just sometimes, a simple penny can change everything.